Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Well, hello, hey, welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we, a few years ago, connected over a mutual love of some different artists, but we also have some pretty different taste. And so we love getting to do this each and every week to get to experience some new artists from each other, invite some friends along for the journey. It's a good ride. Brandon, it's Monday. How are you?
Other than this cold, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Those things you just can't dodge right now. They're like everywhere.
It's not. You can't. It's undodgeable. You're right.
Undodgeable.
Wait, are you saying you have a cold right now?
That's why I'm saying this. I've got my 4 feet away.
I'm just kidding.
Speaking of
Hello.
things that you can't dodge, we have a special guest here with us today. Really excited for this. You may know him from his time with the band Bleach or his stint with Audio Adrenaline during the Kevin Max days, but welcome to our good friend, Mr. Jared Byers.
Yay, what's up? I'm happy to be here.
Dude, we're so glad to have you here. This
I'm
is really
stoked.
fun.
This is awesome.
I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Really?
So-
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're one of my favorite people. in the
Whoa,
world.
okay, keep going.
So just
Stop it,
You know,
but keep going.
the few moments that we've been able to sit across the table
Yeah.
from each other have
Yeah.
just been some of the best conversations that I've had. So
Tacos.
yes, we love tacos.
We had some really good tacos over the years.
Yep.
Conversations. We got a lot in common.
We do, which is really fun. So
Yep.
we're super thankful to have you here.
Awesome.
So we're going to be digging into Jared's story during this episode, finding out more about him and his kind of journey through a lot of this stuff. But before we get too deep into that, let's look and figure out what is in the news.
What's in the news? What's in the news?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in the world of music, Christian music. One thing that I found out that I saw just happen this past weekend, I don't know if you guys caught this, but there's a brand new festival called Thunderfest that happened.
No.
Jared totally missed this.
Yeah.
But it was in Portland, Oregon, September 13th and 14th. And listen to the lineup. It's pretty interesting. So Living Sacrifice, Squad 5-0, Wish for Eden, No Innocent Victim, The Blamed, The Huntingtons, Blaster the Rocket Man. There's some old school
Dang.
tooth and nail stuff on there.
That's rad.
Yeah.
And
it
that's
just,
in Portland.
yeah, it came out of nowhere. It got announced about a month and a half before it actually happened.
That's crazy.
and
I wonder
they're-
who's doing that.
I have no idea, honestly, but I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to hop on a plane. I've never been to Portland, so
Oh,
I
dude,
thought that
it's
might be fun.
awesome. I bet Brandon Evil's probably doing it himself.
Could be.
It's like great. He's like, let's bring Tooth and Nail back.
He's like, if I do it in Portland, nobody will know it's me.
Yeah,
Travel
it's
a few
just
hours
far
away.
enough from Seattle. Yeah,
love
that's Brandon for you.
Oh, that's pretty fun. So that's cool. That would have been fun to go to.
Yeah.
Brandon, you found out some news about another festival, right?
Yeah, I had some amazing news that happened this week. John Rubin returned to the stage.
Oh,
which I
that's
felt like
awesome.
That's news of 2025 right there.
I
That's
love
some good
that
news
guy.
for everyone.
Yeah.
And he returned at Uprise Fest. So it's a festival up in Pennsylvania. So it was a pretty good lineup too, but I really just focused in on John Rubin.
So John Rubin, dude, he's awesome. I got to tour with him several times.
Oh, really?
Such a cool dude. Yeah, and we had so much fun. He's like one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
yeah, I believe that.
But also just an amazing creator, songwriter, lyricist. Yeah, he's awesome. We would always give him a hard time because he's very paranoid. And so we would, when I was touring with Bleach and we toured with John Rubin in the past, it was so easy. Like we would just be like, hey, John, did you eat the meat in catering today? And be like, yeah, I mean, it was really good. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel really weird. Like, and he would be like, "Wait, what? Was it undercooked?" We didn't have to say any more. He'd be like, "Was it? What was wrong with it? Are you sick?" And he'd be like, "Oh no, I don't feel good." Like he would just go downhill. That's one thing I love about John Rubin.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's cool. Brandon, you missed it though. You missed seeing it happen.
I came close to driving up there for it, but
It's a pretty good trip.
so.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Well, let's talk for a second before we kind of get into this about just what we've been listening to lately. What's kind of taken up time in our wherever we listen to music. It's Apple Music for me, but
I'm both.
yeah, both.
I'm Spotify and Apple.
wow.
I know. I share the wealth.
I feel
Mainly
better
Apple.
about now listening with Spotify now.
Yeah.
It's been probably the biggest tension between me and Joel's
really?
relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're working through it though. So
I'm glad that I can be here, just
To
hopefully to help, mitigate things and
bring some peace to this.
I
whole
hope
thing.
so. Yeah.
I mean, as an artist, though, like,
It doesn't matter.
but
I
you
will
get
say,
paid more from Apple Music than Spotify.
do we? Okay. The last check I got in the mail from ASCAP, I think it was 34 cents. And that was like from the last 5 years. I don't know.
So
It doesn't matter.
probably it's a really clear like moment for us to say that the music industry's broken.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's just different.
It's very different.
Yeah. We'll talk about it, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So, what have you guys been listening to lately?
well, for this, I've started listening to a lot of Bleach so I could catch up.
Whoa. I'm sorry.
I'm one of those fans that Joel mentioned that was like knew you from like the Audio Adrenaline era. So whenever I hear Jared Byers, I'm like, yeah, Audio Adrenaline. That's
Yeah.
what he does. And not realizing that there's this whole back catalog of like different bands
Yeah.
you've been a part
so
of.
you didn't listen to Bleach before this at all. Okay, cool. Well, you're young, right?
Yeah. I'm
Younger.
33. So I'm
Yeah.
younger. Yeah.
I mean, I say that, Brandon, because I was young when I was in Bleach.
Uh-huh.
And Joel, you know that. Like, I joined Bleach when I was really young, and they had already been a band. So, yeah. When you talk about the years of Bleach, looking back now, it really makes me feel old. But I was the young guy.
Yeah.
So the other guys are actually really, really old. So that's cool.
One of the fun things about this for us is we have about a decade of space between us, and
Yeah.
so we were like engaging in this world at like different times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
100%.
like late '90s, early 2000s, and Brandon's like a little after that.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of fun to just get to expose each other to
Yeah,
stuff. So
totally.
I'm pretty pumped
Yeah,
about that.
that's really
It's
cool.
fun.
He's
What
got
about-
the Me Without You shirt on,
I
too.
know, he loves
I mean,
Me Without
check it
You.
out. I
That's
love
great.
it. That's great.
great.
I have a story about them, too. Guys, I am like so Sleep Token put out that last record,
Yeah.
and I love it. It's the first record they put out. It took me several listens, and I fell in love with it. I didn't get it. And then when you look at them wearing masks and their crazy stage gear, I'm like, it's cool, whatever. It's cool. But this last record that came out, I didn't love it at first, and then it just started. I don't know. I just started really appreciating some of the things it was different, but it was the same. I don't know how I can explain that.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
can tell that the band, a sophomore record for a band is the hardest. And I don't even know if this is their sophomore record, honestly, but
Yeah.
since they became popular, this is their second record.
Right.
So maybe that was me being like, well, I know this is not going to be good. I don't know. But good Lord.
Yeah.
I love it. I listen to it all the time. And you guys were asking right before we started this who else I might be listening to. And honestly, you guys know the band As Cities Burn?
Yeah.
So I've been spinning Scream Through the Walls, their record, for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And it's the one that you just want to blast.
Mm-hmm.
And like the lyrics, what they're saying, and the music, it's so good. It just
Yeah.
sets me on fire.
That's really awesome.
I went to therapy last week, and I am blasting this record. And it was my first session at this new therapist that I've gone to. And the woman at the front desk was like, "Was that you playing music really loud?" And I'm like, "I am so sorry. Yes. That is how I get prepared to come to therapy." And it was that record.
Wow.
It was like, but it was so good. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of, I mentioned a week or two ago on the podcast, I was talking a little bit about Five Iron Frenzy. And so for whatever reason, that's like, I feel like all I've been listening to since then.
That's awesome.
I'm just like caught up in it again, of how good.
Again for the first time.
Yeah, again for the first time. Caught up in just how good of a songwriter Reese Ripper is.
Yeah.
Like, his lyrics are just incredible, and I just think there's something really awesome. I said this before about a band that can be real honest and like earnest about their faith, but still point fingers at themselves, and the church, and say we don't have it all right or we don't have it all together, but we're working towards something. And and I just always love that about them.
Yeah. They're awesome. They're really, really dear friends of ours and mine. Yeah. I literally just talked to Leonore, Jeff the girl, 2 days ago.
That's awesome.
Because she's like wholeheartedly like wanting to know what we're doing with Bleach.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't realize you liked us that much. But they did ask us to do their farewell tour, which was one of the best tours we've ever done. So,
that's really cool. Well, you guys just played at Murray Hill Theater, like the night after they played there.
We did.
Were you there to catch them? Or?
No, so we tried to.
Yeah.
A couple of our guys in Bleach did.
Yeah.
They went and they were able to hang out and see the show. And I went with my brother Milam, and we have a new guy, Pete Prevost, who our text message thread is Bleach plus Pete. It's a joke, but he's been playing with us whenever we've done reunion stuff over the last 15 plus years.
Yeah.
And so we got a late start. We were trying to get there and we just didn't make it. Like by the time we would have got there, they were already like probably packing up.
Yeah.
And so I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do want to see them. They're playing like a normal band these days. So
they really are playing a ton.
I don't like. I want to see them, and I would love to do. I think it's only a matter of time. Yeah, because they're still playing.
Well, I got to see them last October at Furnace Fest.
That's right. Yeah,
man.
They loved it. I heard that was a good show.
So good.
Yeah.
Like I've probably seen.
That was one thing Leonore was talking to me about. She's like, "We're really bummed we're not doing it this year."
Yeah. I've probably seen them 10 times.
Yeah.
In my life, but I really feel like that was one of the best shows I've ever.
Really?
They were so tight.
That's
unbelievable.
They're finally getting good.
That's the joke, right?
That is a joke. They've always been awesome.
Oh,
that's great.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. All right, well, let's get into some of our conversation. We play that little sound effect in case the sponsors ever want to pay up for this whole thing.
They need to pay big time.
All right, so we've got some questions to ask you along the way, but maybe just to kick us off, you just literally had that experience at Murray Hill Theater with you guys. First show in how long?
Well, I would say first real show probably in around 20 years.
Yeah.
We did a festival. Sam, our guitarist, works for a church out of Franklin, and we did a festival with him, and that was kind of like a super last minute thing, but it was really cool. It was a fun experience. So we did that, but that was more for, the church, and it wasn't a Bleach show.
Right.
This was the first Bleach show that we've had since probably 2005. No, I mean, we did a few reunion shows a few years after that, but it's been a while.
How did it feel being
it was so good
out there?
It was so good. I live here in Charleston, and the rest of the guys live in Nashville. And so I took a couple trips to Nashville over, a month before the show, just to kind of, shake the dust off and
Yeah.
jam out. And it was a chance for us to kind of figure out what songs we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. And I had this weird, do you know the song Sun Stand Still?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one of, probably most of us would say that's one of our favorite songs, if not our favorite song that Bleach has ever done. It was always a special moment, and we've always done it as the ending of a show.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I just was like, this show is this is special, and we're on this level. We're so many years later. Like, what defines Bleach? Like, how should we come out? And obviously, we need to rock out.
Yeah.
And that's a rock song. But I remember talking to the guys beforehand. I was like, we're trying to figure out our set list. And we have a good idea of what songs we are, but not necessarily order. And I'm like, what do you guys think about starting with Sun Stand Still? I'm like, why don't we just set the tone?
Wow.
And like Davey was like, oh, dude, I've never thought about that. Let's do it. And the other guys kind of had to come around a little bit, but they were finally like, that's a good idea. Let's do it. And so I felt like it just made the whole show, like I said, it set the tone. Because the last few shows we did were very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into that more. The way Bleach kind of came to an end.
Yeah.
Very emotional. We're very much a family. And we very much have experienced life as a family.
Yeah.
So a lot of things go into that, but it was very special. Murray Hill has been special to us. The owner, the guy that runs it, Tony, amazing dude, has a heart of gold, just really cares about people and just spreading the gospel. And you want to talk about God's hand on something, how many Christian clubs are still in existence?
I know.
That were 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There's not any.
I was telling Brandon that the other day that it blows my mind. My band actually played there once when we were on the road.
Oh, cool.
But
I love that.
It blows my mind that it's still there. It's still
there.
open. Still
Yeah.
the same mission.
Yeah.
Like, I love that so much.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's in a part of Jacksonville that's not safe.
Yeah.
Like, we used to go there and we were really scared. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like how it's changed over the years, but no, and I love that. That's their heart. They're like, come on, let's love on people.
Yeah.
Come in for positive music. Music that means something,
Yeah.
and I don't know how, but they're still there.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah,
That's so beautiful.
it was awesome.
All right, well, let's back up.
Yeah.
And get into this.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about how music entered your life?
Yeah. So I mean, from a young age, I've always loved music. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My oldest brother, Josh, is 8 years older than me. My middle brother, Milam, who is in Bleach, is 5 years older. They were both big time 80s music. Like, we're talking Poison, Guns N' Roses, but also our parents, my dad was a pastor, so I'm a PK, a preacher's kid. They didn't appreciate us having those albums, so we had to go to the Striper, White Cross, White Heart, all the whites.
White Cross.
Yeah.
Love it.
So good. Which Striper is still probably me and the guys in the band, probably one of our favorite bands ever.
And still going.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Talk about still going.
Yeah.
Like the bunny rabbit. Still going. But it's awesome. I love it. 21 cymbals, 21 drums. That's what Robert Sweet would say. And he would have the cymbals hanging from chains. So when he would hit a cymbal, it would just swing. I'll never forget that.
That's so cool.
But those guys are awesome, and they played with Motley Crue, and they really blurred the lines, which unfortunately stopped for a little while. But my brothers are who got me into music. My mom played and taught piano. She always tried to teach me. My biggest regret as far as music goes is not taking my mom's advice and learning piano when I was younger. I was into sports, and I wanted to be a baseball player. And it's like, no, I don't want to play piano. I didn't have the patience for it. And I regret it. I wish I did. I mean, I can hit a couple keys here and there, but no, I'm not any good. So yeah, just from a really young age, music was kind of instilled in me.
That's awesome. So what led from that and just kind of taking music in, being a listener, being a fan? How did you then enter into the world of music as a musician, where you start playing? What was the beginning of that like?
That is, I really have to. That's Milam.
Yeah.
My brother Milam was playing guitar. Milam at the time was in high school. He was a skater kid, middle child. Need I say more? Like the artsy, like nobody understands kind of child. So he's trying to find himself, and always just been like, he was an incredible drawer, but when he put his mind to something, he's brilliant. Like the dude is a genius, but not just smart, like art. Like he's just really I don't know how his mind works. And we have those conversations. Like he'll talk to me and I'm like, brother, you got to slow down. Like I need you to draw what you're talking about to me so I can like understand. But that was kind of the gift that he has. And he was big time in guitar, and especially when he went to college, he started playing in a band, and they started touring regionally. Actually in Anderson, South Carolina. He went to Anderson University, which it wasn't that then, but they started touring, and that's kind of how he got his start. I was just like, well, I want to do something. My brother, at first when I was a kid, I wanted to go into the military. My oldest brother went to West Point. I saw how hard it was, and I was like, I am not doing that. I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I went my other brother route. Like, let's play music. And I'm pretty sure I had a conversation with Milam, and I was like, I want to be a musician. Like, I want to be a singer because I want to be in front. You, like, as a kid, you're like, that's who you know is the singer. And he's like, you should be a drummer. And I didn't know what he was doing, but now I look back and I think he was planning something. I really do. And I was like, okay, cool. Cause I love gadgets.
Yeah.
I love things. Me being a firefighter is like one of the biggest thing that draws me to it is like, we use so many different kinds of tools and gadgets. I love it. Like my house is just full of knives and weird things that I just love tools, you know?
Yeah.
And, so drums were always that as a musician. You're like, oh, well, you got to tinker with this. And unfortunately, it's like the hardest to move around too. And it takes the most time to set up. So I didn't think about that. But no, I went heads in and just fell in love with drums. And one of the guys that played with Milam at the time, Yogi, who plays for Demon Hunter now, he played for several really good bands that actually toured with Bleach too. He did a lot for me. It's kind of cool. He was like my mentor.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, what drum should I get for my first or second drum set? And what kind of heads to use? What kind of sticks, size? And I had that guy that was like really good. So I got a one up from everybody else in a way. And that's how I started playing drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Awesome. So when did Bleach come into that picture?
Yeah, so playing drums, I played for a band in high school that did really good regionally. There was a pastor that was in that band that's massive. I won't say his name.
It's
but
fine. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, you know. Steve Furtick. We were in a punk band, and we were pretty good. And then my brother Milam again was playing with somebody called Miss Angie, and I was 17 in high school in Georgia, and my brother was on a tour with the Insiders and the Dingies, and it was like a really cool tour. The Insiders are awesome.
Yeah.
You like Five Iron Frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were very close
Yeah.
together, and so I went, and it's crazy. The drummer for the Dingies, which I was a big fan of, they're a Tooth and Nail Records band, kind of like ska reggae, and I loved them for years before I saw him play the show. And being Milam's little brother, I went early, and their drummer just quit like a couple days before. So the drummer for the Insiders was filling in. Met the guys. Milam was like, Jared, you should play a song with the Dingies and just kind of like try out and see if they would want to use you.
That's awesome.
Like maybe you could finish this tour. It was towards the end of the tour. And I was like, dumb enough to do it. And I knew their songs.
Yeah.
And so I'd never forget. It was a show in Georgia at a high school in a gymnasium. And I played, they were like, why don't you just come up and play a song during our set? What song do you want to do?
That's so wild.
And I just told them, I was like, well, this is my favorite song. And they're like, all right, cool, done. We'll see how you do. And I did it. And they were like, we're going to finish the tour off because it was towards the end, but we have a 3-week run after this tour that we don't have a drummer for.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in playing? And I was like, I'm a kid, 17. So I was like, yeah. Didn't even ask my parents. But it happened to be the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. And it worked out. They asked me to do it. And my parents, I don't know why, said, okay, yeah, go tour. Milam was the biggest culprit for that. He was the one that was like, look, these guys are okay. Like, you can go and do it. It was a great experience. That was my first tour. That led me to Milam later joined Bleach after Miss Angie. So the Bleach guys became really good friends of mine, just already kind of like family. That relationship led me to the Reliant K guys. They toured with Reliant K. It was Reliant K's first tour, and I think it was them and PAX 217, which is a rad tour. So Bleach was the headliner. Went to a couple of those shows. Got to be really good friends with Reliant K. Same issue. Drummers are a problem, apparently. Drummer, something happened, needed one. They knew that I played with the Dingies. For them, that was like, you're good. Like, they love the Dingies. So that was like my calling card. And they were like, come on, like, come to Ohio and play for us. I was like,
so
all right.
cool.
So I did that for, about a year. And
so that was early Reliant K.
yes,
That
very
you were-
early.
Because I saw Reliant K. I have no idea what year it was on tour. This is crazy, but I think it was with like 7 Day Jesus and Third Day.
Whoa.
How bonkers is that? Yeah, but it was super
I don't
early.
know that tour.
Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe I'm just imagining that in my head. But I remember
I
going
don't know.
to see Reliant K, and they were handing out pre-release cassettes before the first record came out.
Oh, okay.
So it was really early.
That is very early.
Yeah.
Like Goatee probably just signed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was probably before this whole
Gotcha.
thing went down.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We were still touring the first album that they released, and we were writing. Obviously, Matt Thiessen is like the main guy that writes their music, so he was writing it, and I was putting the drums on the Anatomy record. And so it's kind of cool. That's how I met Mark Townsend. He is the producer for all of their albums, and now Mark Townsend is my brother's father-in-law.
Really?
So we kind of introduced him to his wife, and Mark Townsend was always a hoot. Phenomenal producer, great guy. I consider he's like my father-in-law too, but he would come up, we would be playing, and I was such a fast drummer. It was before Click. And, well, before I played the Click. It wasn't before Click had, like, metronome. But, so he would come up, and I would get off the Click, and we're doing demos with Reliant K for that Anatomy record, like Sadie Hawkins dance. And I'm just like, I'll start speeding it up. Mark Townsend will come out of the boardroom and just start clapping like to me, like a duck, like or an alligator. And he would just go in front of my drums and he would just like 1, 2, and I'd be like, but I would die laughing, and I'll never forget that ever. Like that was my intro
so
to Mark
funny.
Townsend and recorded. That was like some of the first stuff I ever recorded. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool to be a part of it. That's one of my favorite Reliant K records too. And I'm probably biased, but it's a good one. And then I just, living in Ohio, being away, and touring, I was kind of mixed emotionally. Like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. I was so young.
Yeah.
So there was a part of me that still wanted to go to college, and the opportunity to tour, especially for a band like Reliant K, was awesome. Love those guys. But I remember going to a Bleach show. They played in Columbus because I was living in Canton, Ohio, because that's where Reliant K is from. And it was cold. And I went to a Bleach show, and they stayed the night there, and I just stayed with them in their rooms. And it was one of those nights we just had a good night of just kind of connecting. And they're like, "How's it going?" And I'm like, it's going good, but I don't know if this is what I want to do. For me and Reliant K, it was a trial. So it wasn't like, hey, you're joining the band.
Right.
That wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
It was like, let's go until the end of the year and we'll reassess. So this conversation happened as I'm like, I don't know what to tell them because this conversation is going to happen in like the next week or two.
Yeah.
Because it was towards the end of the year. And the Bleach guys were like, well, man, I mean, we're here for you. We support you. We would never want to pull you away from Reliant K, but just so you know, if you don't want to do that, Matt Gingrich, our drummer, who's been the original drummer for 5 years, that started the band with Sam and Davey, he's done. He's getting married, and he's ready to move on.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to ask you, but since you don't know possibilities, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And they were like, we would be honored, to have you. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was literally one of those things I didn't say, yeah, I'll do it or no. I went back, and the next 2 weeks I just really heavily prayed and just kind of focused on what I felt was the best thing for me. My brother being in the band and the Bleach guys alone.
Yeah.
I was like, that feels like home. And I've got an open invitation to just go home and create with those guys. And I was like, heck yeah, let's go.
That's awesome.
And it was hard. I mean, I heard from a lot of people that were very important. They were like, you're making a mistake. Bleach is on their way down. They're done with Goatee record or not Forefront Records.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're gonna do. Like their CCM, Reliant K is like rising, and it was just one of those things where I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for. And I never regretted it. You have those times where you look back and it's like, well, yeah, I could have been in that band still, and they did really good.
Yeah.
They still do good.
Yeah.
But no, the Bleach days. This is a really long answer to what you asked me, Brandon. That's how it started. So I decided I'm going to join Bleach, and it just happened the first of that year of 2000. Yeah.
So as you guys started moving in Bleach, you're getting active in here. I know there was like label changes and all kinds of stuff that you guys were navigating as a band. Walk us through like a little bit of that and what that looked like.
Yeah. So when I joined Bleach, they were going through kind of a breakup with Forefront.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, it was like a really cool time. It could have been, I think what it came down to was the kind of the end of that early Bleach era, where the guys like Eddie DeGarmo, who kind of like founded Forefront, was a big believer and like supporter of Bleach.
Yeah.
And he kind of went away. Some of the A&R reps, like some of the guys that they worked with, went away, and it just kind of turned into more and more CCM. You know, like we don't know what to do with you because you're a rock band.
Yeah. Which
And
is so funny.
and but at the same time, you know, Bleach was kind of changing too, and it just kind of came to like a really cool like, we'll just let you go, and they're like, cool, like that's great, and it led to this fresh like new beginning. But the guys like Sam and Davey and Matt Gingrich, who are the originals, were like, where are we? Should we quit? Like, is this where we stop? And I know Sam and Davey, obviously they're the two that stayed with it.
Yeah.
We're like, no, let's freaking go. Like, let's just press on and keep going. And so they already had Jerry, our bass player, had played a tour prior to all that happening, and then Milam joined in after that tour, my brother. And so the band was that, and then Matt Gingrich, the drummer, decided to call it quits, and that's when my conversation with them after playing with Reliant K came in hand, and it was just like all these things pieced together. And we went to, Sam had family in, Sam and Davey are from Indiana, and this was January in Indiana. So I just remember like 6 feet of snow on the ground. Like we're all living in a basement, and we just set up our stuff, and we're like, let's write.
Yeah.
And we
That's
did.
awesome.
And like, I remember We Are Tomorrow was like the first song we just hashed out, like in the basement, and it's just blizzard outside. Meantime, I'm still getting to learn the guys. Like Sam is like, how much would you guys pay me to go jump into the river out there that's like covered in ice? And I'm like, I'm still like, what drum part do I want to do?
Right.
And Sam is talking about jumping in an ice river. And I think one of the guys is like, I'll give you $5. He's like, okay. And he just like runs out in his underwear and boots, like cowboy boots. I don't know where he got cowboy boots from, but somehow he was just running out, and he jumped into a river, and he made $5 for that. That's my intro to Bleach. Yeah.
I love that. We Are Tomorrow is one of my favorite Bleach
That's
songs.
awesome, man.
And I love your drum part on that specifically.
Oh, thanks.
I love how it starts out. It's just, yeah, that's cool.
That was, I didn't write it that way.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we have a demo version and then the record version.
Yeah.
And Orrin Thornton, the guy that produced our, again for the first time, and our other couple records after that, he kind of came up with that part. And yeah, it turned out great. I love it. But yeah, that was the end of Forefront. We shopped around. Goatee and Tooth and Nail, a label we all loved called Vagrant, because like some of our favorite bands were like, obviously Jimmy Eat World. My favorite band was Saves the Day, the Get Up Kids.
Dashboard Confessional.
Yes, Dashboard, which Chris was kind of a good buddy of ours. He actually told us that he played Super Good Feeling on a daily basis just to like make himself in a better mood.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we were able to shop labels, and we just found the best fit with Tooth and Nail. And honestly, that was the biggest turning point for us as a band. You want to talk about credit? We got it. It was like overnight. But our record that we recorded with them, again, for the first time, gave us that credit too. So in a way, it was kind of deserved, because the band, we would have guys from like Under Oath and people we didn't even know. Like if we played a festival somewhere, Bleach was playing with like, you know, back in the day with Third Day, Sixpence and None the Richer, or, you know, and now you're talking about playing with freaking Me Without You, Under Oath, like the really cool, like Solid State bands.
Yeah.
Tooth and Nail. And when we signed to Tooth and Nail, they were even like, we want you to be on BEC. And we were like, nah. I think
love that.
our first release, they released like a EP of our record again for the first time, and it has BEC on it.
Gotcha.
And we were like, we don't want to be BEC, we want to be Tooth and Nail. And they were like, okay, cool. Like that was the relationship we had with
That's
them.
awesome.
It was just great. Yeah, it was like, it just worked. It was really good. Like I know a lot of bands that have had bad experiences with them. There's a lot of stories about that, but for us, it was awesome. Like it was great. It's a record label.
Yeah.
So there's only so much that, you know.
There probably was, I would imagine, compared to like a Forefront Records, just a ton more like freedom of expression and you
It
guys
was.
getting to be who you wanted to be in that moment, which is cool.
And then you had to worry about JPMs. Jesus per minute.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you know, we heard your songs and we just need to hear Jesus a little more. And it's like, oh my God, you know, that really makes you question things, you know? So yeah, it was very refreshing. And they were on board and they did give us a lot of freedoms. But they wanted to hear what was happening. They wanted to be a part of it, which made us feel good too.
Yeah.
I felt like they did it in a really healthy way. It wasn't like, we're going to micromanage everything you do. It was like, no, just send us your stuff. And usually every time they're like, this is great. Like we're digging it. And then like I said, we'd have those guys like Under Oath, the Supertones. I remember having like Dan from the Supertones jump on my shoulder singing Fell Out. I'm like, I've never met you before. You didn't think I was cool when we played the last few shows together, kind of thing. And it was just like instant credit. But the record kind of spoke for itself, like I said, you know? So it was a cool experience.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So what brought things to a close for Bleach?
So that was the beginning, and now we're talking about the end. You know, that was in the midst of recording again for the first time and touring that record. The next record was Astronomy, and Astronomy was the hardest record we've ever had to do. That was like our version of Bleach. That was our sophomore record, which is really difficult. And honestly, we didn't know why we struggled so much. The crazy thing about it is when, you know, at some point, his mom passed away. And that was really hard on him and us. And Davey was going through his dad had really bad health, some marital issues. And the thing about Bleach was family first.
Yeah.
It's never about the music first. We're a family. And if you have an issue or a problem at home, we're not leaving. You're not leaving. That was my core values at such a young age that I'll never forget. The way that those guys, I was 18 when I joined the band, they really taught me extremely important values, which is very rare in the music industry, even Christian music. But those guys had they had it set. Like, this is who we are. There's no going against it. There's no, I don't care who you are. Like, this is what we believe in. And also, we're not going to treat anybody like we're better than them. And so, welcome to that world of, we'll be the first to show up for sound check in the afternoon, and we're the last to leave. Because one of us, like, especially Davey, is skateboarding with kids. You know?
I love
But it was like, cool. And then we'll still go to Waffle House or freaking Denny's at 2 a.m. with whoever's left.
Right.
And we've just had like so many nights with fans like that. And I hate to even say fans. Like, we never really call them fans. So, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's the kind of band that I was able to be a part of. And in the midst of Astronomy being mixed, my brother died. which is Milam and I's brother. He was fighting the war in Iraq, and that was a tough blow. The guys, we obviously needed to take time off for that. So the guys gave us 2 months off, and we have dear friends, Yogi being one, played drums for me, and that just kind of volunteered and stepped up. Like, if the band stops, we were in debt, and so if the band stopped, the money stopped too. But also in a way, they were like, we feel like we need to keep going for your brother. Like, this is what Josh would want us to do. Because Sam, Davey, and Jerry felt like Josh was their brother too.
Yeah.
In a huge way. And Sam actually, before Josh went to Iraq, Josh pulled Sam aside and was like, hey, you're big brother now. If something happens to me, I need you to promise me you're going to take care of Milam and Jared.
Wow.
And Sam has told me several times he made that promise, and he's going to keep it. So it was a really big deal for all of us. Those guys went out of their way to continue our shows just so Milam and I could pay our bills.
Yeah.
And it was so special.
That's awesome.
So that took a couple months. And then we did the 5 Iron Frenzy Farewell Tour. And that was the first tour that we did as a band. And it ended up being one of the last for us too. It was just a natural thing. So many things were happening. After the 5 Iron Tour, we had one more string of shows in Germany. And Germany is always fun. And for this last string, Davey was just going through a lot. We were all going through a lot, but it was like Davey's turn. And he had a really long walk with Milan. We were in they call it Gouda. It's spelled like Gouda, the cheese. That's where Gouda is made, but they say Gouda. And beautiful, beautiful city in Holland, actually.
Okay.
And we were playing Holland in Germany, and Davey had a long walk with Milan and was basically like, I gotta hang it up. And he felt terrible. And Milam at the time was like, dude, I feel the same way. And it was like, all of us were like, yeah, like it was just life. And we were able to call it on our own terms.
Yeah.
And that goes back why I said family first, right? So if there was an issue at home or something one of us were dealing with, we weren't going to continue touring and ignore it.
Yeah.
And we decided to just go ahead and call it. So it made sense.
Yeah. Man, I knew this had to be heavy days for you guys. Obviously, you and Milam were navigating the loss of your brother, but then stepping into like a season where you're then kind of grieving like a little bit the loss of
That's 100%
like, who
right.
you are as a band, and
That's it. And individually,
yeah,
as a band, you're a band. You are an individual, but it's easy, especially at a young age, to identify yourself as being in a band. So when you lose that identity, like, who are you? And that's when I started struggling with depression, panic attacks, anxiety, because I wasn't able to go on tour. I wasn't a part of a band. My identity was questionable. Like, who am I? I don't have anything.
yeah,
I went through a couple of months of questioning everything. And that's when everything hit me. And that was when my road started with depression and just from trauma.
yeah,
Milam and I were the two guys that had to tell our parents that their son was dead and was killed. And there's a lot of baggage there. Milam had his fiance, and they got married, and in a lot of ways I felt alone. I didn't have the band, and Milam and I lived together. I kind of lost him.
yeah,
And not to anything bad, like, it was great. We celebrated it,
Yeah.
but still, just like me being by myself for the first time in ever, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it was like the first time I felt that alone.
yeah,
Because before, I was just a high school kid. And then now I'm like, well, my band's done. what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then Bryce Avery called me from the Rocket Summer. I was like, hey, do you want to play drums for me? I was like, heck yeah, let's go. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that kind of leads into, so what was next for you? Like, what were the next steps in music? Because it didn't end for you there, obviously.
Yeah, so that was literally coming out of that. I played with the Rocket Summer, and that only lasted for about a year.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I think I was making $50 a show, which that was 2006, maybe 2005 and 2006. So yeah, it's not $50 is a lot less than then, but still,
Right.
like I don't know how I survived.
Yeah.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I love the Rocket Summer and the music. Bryce is a dear friend. Living in and out of Dallas where he was from, but Nashville was still my home.
Mm-hmm.
I was still based out of Nashville, and I was just ready to maybe do something outside of music. And I just kind of told Bryce after the last tour I did with him, we toured with Cartel and like Receiving End of Sirens, like these great bands.
Mm-hmm.
Cartel like blew up after that.
Yeah.
Huge fan of their band. I was like, I need a break because I think that after Bleach and like my brother being killed, I think I never mourned it,
Mm-hmm.
any of that stuff. And that's the kind of the beginning of me like maybe just like pushing things inside
Yeah.
to not deal with them.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
I can keep going in this moment, and it just kind of that puts off me having to like
The-
walk
the
through
pain.
this and deal with this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Coping maybe is a good word.
Yeah. Yeah.
And touring is a really, really easy thing to
Mm.
just put things back
Mm.
because you're gone.
Yeah.
You're on the road. You're surrounded by friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big deal. But I felt like for the first time I needed to really step back and start focusing on my health
Mm-hmm.
and myself. And so in the midst of that, I got the chance to play with Audio Adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were, pretty good friends of mine. It was the original lineup, and they're doing their farewell tour with Mercy Me.
Mm.
They did the first 3 months, and then they decided to add 3 months after it. So Ben Sissel, the drummer for Audio Adrenaline, had already told his new employee or employer he's going to work a certain
Mhm.
date, so he couldn't do the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's where I came in,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and I got to play. And that was the original. I was like Will McGinnis, Mark Stewart
Yeah,
singing.
that's awesome.
Brian Whitman. Yeah, like that was very special.
Mm.
That was one of the most fun tours I've ever done. And that's how I got to know Mercy Me really well. Back when they were still kind of blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys are still like really, really good friends.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then I got married, started a landscaping business, because I only did that one tour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a guy named Nate Barlow and Carrie Barlow. Do you know the band Luna Halo?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We started a side project band that they started with the bass player for Kings of Leon, Jared. And it's kind of like a surf rock band. So that got me back into music
Mm-hmm.
for a little while. Just we did South by Southwest, CMJ in New York. We would do some really cool festivals. And then I was asked if I'd be interested in doing the Audio Adrenaline reboot.
Yeah.
And so that was with Kevin Max, Will McGinnis, who was from Audio Adrenaline. And at the time I was like, heck yeah, it'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew the Audio A guys, and
Mm-hmm.
Mark Stewart was still like, his hand was still on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was very much still kind of leading the way and, making decisions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried it. And I think that record's really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That we did. And it was very special. I mean, the Audio Adrenaline's main thing to do that was because they have their ministry Hands and Feet. and it was a really good way to kind of just like promote it.
Yeah.
And of course, like Audio Adrenaline had a really good name for themselves. So it was just like, why not use that? And let's just keep it going. And it worked out good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did that for a few years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was that the first time that like you and Kevin Max had like crossed paths, or had y'all like known each other from previously?
We knew each other previously, but not well. So Kevin kind of knew me from a couple different bands, and then he was like, "Oh, you were in Bleach? Yeah, okay, I think I remember that." It was like, you don't remember, but you know, obviously I knew Kevin, and that was really cool. Me and Kevin became really really close throughout that whole thing, and we got to go to Haiti a few times and do some really special things for them. And the video that we did for Hands and Feet, like the single Kings and Queens, that was very special. The only drumsticks I've ever saved are the drumsticks that I am playing, I'm using in the video, and they're like purple because we use purple dye. And I think my drums actually still have purple in them, just because they used like they had me hit drums and the purple dye went everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were like breathing purple for days.
So what is it like when you're trying to reboot a band? So Audio Adrenaline, like you come back, but it's like you have people expecting Audio Adrenaline from like the 90s. Then you have people thinking, oh man, well, now you got Kevin, so it's gonna take this direction.
Yeah.
So what's the challenges like that when you're in this band, but now you're like, how do we reboot this?
It's very challenging. Back then they had already done the Newsboys and it was successful.
Yeah.
Right.
This was different. It was a whole different beast. Like I think that the management company that teamed up with Audio A was a part of the Newsboys reboot.
Yeah.
And they basically did the exact same thing. And you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a whole different animal. And fans too. Like the fans kind of mix, but you have like totally different fans.
Yeah.
Mark Stewart, I mean, there's no replacing that guy.
Yeah.
But also Kevin Max, like that guy is something special.
Yeah.
So you would think automatically like, oh, Audio Adrenaline with Kevin Max singing, this is becoming like, then it was like, this is becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Where bands are replacing singers with someone. It seemed like a really good idea. And for a moment, I think it was. I think it was good. But I think what it came down to, it was just too appointed. It was like, we're going to pay you this to play these shows, and then you're going to do this, you're going to do this. You need to wear this. And it's like, what are we doing? You know? It was just too many people that had hands on the situation.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, it became very stressful.
Yeah.
In a big way. Just very, very stressful.
Yeah.
Which I will say they didn't have that much stress when they were creating the record.
Yeah.
So the album, I think, does a really good job displaying what Audio Adrenaline wanted. Like that whole album of Kings and Queens.
Yeah.
I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then after that is when they were like, well, who's going to be in the band? That's where it got stressful.
Yeah.
Because they had already picked out Kevin Max because he had to do vocals. But I didn't play any drum parts on that album. Like I got hired in the midst of recording and even kind of towards the end. So I was just the live drummer. And the rest of the band was the same way.
Yeah.
I think I remember.
Besides Will.
Yeah. I remember seeing y'all live here. And I think by the time y'all got in here, like, was it like Dave Gazarian from like Super Check?
Yeah.
Was already like out of the band. Like it was already, and I was like, oh, this is already, like people are leaving.
Yeah. That's funny that you recognize that. Yeah. Dave, gosh, he's one of my best friends. That was really hard. They literally fired Dave and our keyboardist, Jason. It was like, if you're not performing or doing what we want you to do, you're out. And that was weird.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, okay, I see what we're doing now. Like,
It's kind of a different side of the music, like Christian music industry from
It
what you
was.
had experienced before. It's kind of like this band is like business kind of thing.
it was a business move.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that, don't get me wrong. It was smart for my dudes with Audio A.
Yeah.
But for management and the people that were doing it for money,
Yeah.
it was 100% business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize the music industry, even Christian, it's a business. Like, it's not cool. Like, they're in it for money.
Yeah.
And I mentioned JPMs. Like, why do you think they want so many Jesuses in a song? Awesome if you think it's to save souls, but
Airplay.
it's
Yeah.
everything to do with it. Yeah, it's like right now, praise and worship is huge, so we need you guys to sound like a praise and worship band. And we didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
That was kind of the end of my 2 to 3 years of Audio Adrenaline. We started recording the next record, and the things we were doing were really good,
Yeah.
but we were getting denied one song after the other because they were like, this is not what we want. We're going to get so-and-so to record this. We're going to get this guy to write lyrics and melody on this. And it's like, oh, you want us to be a worship band. And yeah, because that's what's selling. That's what the radio is playing.
Yeah.
And that was 100% it.
So many bands in that moment that carried on and had a longer career. It's like they had to pivot in that direction to survive.
There's bands that did and didn't. Like
Right.
Mercy Me, you know, in a way they fit that culture,
Right.
Yeah.
but not necessarily.
Yeah.
I really respect those guys because I feel like they've been able to keep it real for themselves. Like, we're still writing, creating what we want to.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know what they're told to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much of that comes into play. But yeah, there's some bands that have really done a good job of it. But like with Bleach, like we crossed the line, and that was probably the most proud thing I've ever been a part of, is blurring the line of Christian music to general secular. One of our last tours was with a band called Hot Rod Circuit, which was one of my favorite bands on Vagrant
Yeah.
as well. And those guys are still really good friends of ours. They're not Christians,
Yeah.
but they loved our music.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is cool. And we were on tour with them, and they would ask us to do drugs. They would ask us to do, and we wouldn't, you know. But they were like, "Why are you guys?" They would literally ask us, like, "Why are you guys different?" And it was a cool thing because I love them asking that and not being like, "Well, I know why you're different because you're this and you're a religious, you know, so and so." We weren't. We were just ourselves, and we loved people, and they were just like, "Why?" Like, what makes you different? But when they really asked that, they could see it. It was like, we just have priorities different, you know, like with what we believe, and it created great conversations.
Yeah.
And that was like the coolest thing we've ever done.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So with that, talk to me a little bit about what it's like to be a person of faith, even in the Christian music industry, because you're spending time with a lot of different artists, and I know that you've probably had the opportunity to grow close to a lot of people who I feel like being part of the industry almost can like wreak havoc on the faith of a musician, or putting a 17-year-old kid on stage and like expecting them to like carry the weight of like the salvation of all the people who are in an audience, like that sometimes like the expectations that we put on people in the Christian music industry is actually the thing that ends up like crushing their faith. Like for you, like what was it like being a Christian in a band and like maintaining like just some sense of faith and trust in Jesus through the midst of like all the ups and downs of that?
Yeah. That's a really good question. I go to church. I related to church.
Yeah.
I've seen so many of my friends that are musicians, brilliant artists. They think outside of the box. They think too much. They're smart. There's always that wonder, like it's hard to prove for some people God is real.
Yeah.
And what I relate it to church is because I grew up in the church and I've seen church hurt is real.
Mm-hmm.
Church is a family. And what really, 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 really hurts is when someone gets hurt by the church and they blame it on God. And that changes their relationship completely towards God and what they believe in. And that sucks.
Yeah.
I know it's easy for me to say, well, the church is made of people and people are broken. Yeah. But I really do. I know that is a real heartbreak if you have something happen with your church family. We have people that might get looked down on for divorce and even hard, like abortions. Where do you go? Like it's easy for us. And I just talked to my therapist about this yesterday. No, this morning. That's how it's been a long day.
Yeah.
But I really, growing up in the church, I have that religious guilt on certain things. And, that's a real thing that I'm having to kind of power through. But with bands and artists in particular, like the guy I want to talk about, his album in a little bit, he's a big part of that too.
Yeah.
I think he's so smart. He's probably been hurt and he's probably seen too much and it's easy. I will say, I've questioned my faith a lot. So there's no denying that.
Yeah.
Touring, you are in front of people. You can take that medicine and you can use it. And there was a part of me that did at times where I was like, all right. But I feel like God always kind of humbled me. If I started feeling cocky in any way, I feel like I was always easily humbled.
Yeah.
But I was also surrounded by really good friends and family. But I can't speak for people that don't have that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the difference with me and other people. Because I know guys that, like we're talking about identity.
Yeah.
You want to talk about identity, your music. And if you see somebody on a message board that talks bad about your song, like that's brutal.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's your baby. And the way we write songs is from our heart.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like going bad on that sucks. That's heavy. And with social media now, you can't do anything without hearing from comments from people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's a different world out there. At least when I was doing it full time, we didn't have the social media that we do now. So I don't know how much more that would play a part in me and my faith, honestly, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I am just very blessed that I am chosen and loved by just kind people like my family. And it goes back to Bleach, those guys, the way I was brought up. And those were the guys, if I had an issue playing in a band prior or after them, I was like, I would still go to them.
Yeah.
And be like, what do you guys think about this? Or if I disappeared, like Davey became like kind of my absolute best friend throughout all of that after the years. And Davey would call me and he knew if I didn't call him back or text him back after a day, he's like, Jared's doing this episode again. Like, so he would just call me the next day and I wouldn't answer. Guess he would call me the third day and he would do it. And I would feel so bad, but he was never like never mean or
Yeah.
terrible. He's like, dude, I just want to let you know I love you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I had. That's who I had in my corner. So for me, I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does, because I think that's such an important like part of. I think a lot of times when we think about faith, we tend to think about faith and our relationship with God in a really isolated way. But I don't think that's how God designed for us to live and walk. But God designed for us to live and walk with other people, and it's other people that sometimes we like have to have in order to keep going. And keep trusting. And I think that there's just great value in community and family. And you had a really cool opportunity in a band to have like literal family, and then like just like band family too. And I think that that's such a cool thing that you were able to experience and walk with.
Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it is who are you surrounded by?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's good and bad.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit now about what's happening with Bleach in this moment. Obviously, you guys just played Murray Hill, but like that's leading up to even more that's like coming for you guys. So, like, what led to all this this kind of like rebirth moment for you guys?
I don't know. We literally we have our text thread, and we talk every day. That's never going away, and that's really weird. But we're literally like best friends and brothers, and we have a Bleach plus Pete thread, and then we have a Bleach family thread, which is like the wives and some of the kids within our families, and so it depends on what the conversation is. Depends on the thread that we're talking on, but mainly our Bleach little, the 7 of us, because Matt Gingrich is still a part of us as well. So there's 7 of us in that thread. It just kind of, Milam actually is really good friends with Chad, who does Furnace Fest, and they still talk a good bit. And Milam was just like, obviously with it being like our 20th anniversary lately of like, again, for the first time, and all these reunions happening and all these bands coming back to play again, we've talked about it and tossed it around. And I think Milam just randomly asked Chad, like, what about Bleach playing Furnace Fest?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, that would be awesome. But I mean, we're all filled up.
Right.
And he was like, but if we get a spot open up, I'll let you know. And it's like, okay, cool. And Chad literally called Milan, was like, hey, about Bleach playing Furnace Fest. Milan was like, yeah.
That's
He's
so
like, let's do it.
that's so fun, because you guys were one of the like surprise like announcements
Yeah.
that came a little later, and I think I even texted you like that day that I saw it. And
You
I was
did,
like, this
yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah.
I was so excited for you.
You were like, do you need a drum tech? Is that what you asked me?
I might have mentioned something like that.
But no, and then Murray Hill Theater is celebrating their 30th anniversary, which is incredible. And so they, around the same time, that might have come before, but they were like, would you guys be interested in reuniting, just for a special show? Because we had played, somewhere around 10 shows there.
Yeah.
And the shows, like, I saw a list of them, and every one of them were freaking awesome, like super special. Like the Reliant K tour, we sold it out twice. 500 Friends, we sold it out twice, and then there's a bunch of other really cool shows that we did there, and we were like, heck yeah, like we'll do anything for you guys.
Yeah.
Like that's a really cool opportunity for us just to get back together, and play. And so yeah, that's it. And then it just kind of, the other guys are all in Nashville, and they've been inspired. They do Tuesday morning coffee, and they'll sometimes get together and just kind of jam out and write like old times. And unfortunately, me being here in Charleston, I can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
But they're doing it, and I'm hearing demos and things from that. and it's exciting. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And so a lot of this has just brought like, well, what does this look like for next year? So these two shows are all we're going to do this year.
Yeah.
But I think for a reasonable goal next year for us, we're talking about doing 20, 25 shows.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and trying to hit, at least a couple shows per like region. Like we want to make it out to the Northwest and Southwest and the Midwest, the Northeast. Like Texas was always special. We have those regions that are like the Midwest was always freaking great.
Yeah.
Bleach is from Indiana, basically. So it's like we're playing at home when we're in the Midwest.
Yeah.
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 So we want to have the opportunity to do that. We actually just picked up another show. The label that we're working with, Sam is actually a part of creating, and we're gonna do kind of like a cool. I don't even know what it is, honestly. I'm just a drummer. They're like, we're gonna do this show, and it's for the record label, and I look at my schedule and I'm off, so I'm like, let's do it.
That's
and
great.
we're gonna do it. So I think it's like mid-October.
Cool.
October 16th or 14th, something like that. Yeah. So we just have Furnace Fest on the 4th, and then that random show
Is that,
mid-October.
like, in Nashville?
It's downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's actually in a really cool club called The End.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been there. That's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Like 200 people max.
Yeah.
It's a cool vibe. Dive bar.
That's so exciting, man. It's so fun that like you guys get to experience this again at a different moment of your lives, but yet you've been able to stay connected in such a cool way.
Yeah, and I will be honest, I questioned it. I've had long conversations with Milam because Milam is there again, and I just feel like I'm not, and I have a different job now, and it doesn't really fit. The other guys, their jobs are just kind of different. They can kind of hold their own schedules a little better, and I can't do that. So, Milam's like, if we decide to do these things in the future, like, how do you feel? Like, if we work with you, would you want to do it? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. And it's like, now I see it. And I don't know. I can't imagine them doing something without me.
Yeah.
There's just a part of me. There's something that I don't know how to explain, the connection that I have with Bleach personally, with my dudes, but with the music. Because, Milam and I wrote a lot of our music together as well.
Yeah.
Just like from the brothers, and we brought it to the band, and they made it really good in songs. But we rehearsed a few weeks before the show in Jacksonville, and we were sitting down on the second day of rehearsal and just kind of, for the first time, just sitting down having a conversation, and I started crying. I'm not a crier, but I was just like, guys, I got to be honest with you. Like I wasn't sure about this, but with the rehearsal we did the night before, and just like, I'm all smiles. And I was brought to tears playing. There's just those songs. There's looking up and seeing one of my guys playing, like Milam has his things that he does playing guitar when he's in a good place that he doesn't do anything anywhere else. And I'm seeing him do that. And it was the first time I'd seen him do these little things that he does in 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Or I'm looking at Sam or Davey, or like, we're like trying to talk while we're rehearsing through a song. We don't know what we're saying. We're laughing, it's like those little things that we have as a band, we've always had, but after all these years, you really learn to appreciate it, like, and I was like, this is awesome. Let's do it. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Feels like home again.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Entirely.
That's cool. Well, man, I really appreciate you digging into this with us. This has been such a good conversation, and so I appreciate your just vulnerability, and it's so fun to hear like so much of the story of where you guys have been and where you've been involved and engaged throughout the history of Bleach and just so many different pieces of music. So thanks for coming and sharing your story with us.
Heck yeah.
I really appreciate
Been
it.
an honor.
That's cool. Well, we're going to transition into our lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
So this week, our lyric of the week comes from the Bleach song "We Are Tomorrow,"
Wow.
off again for the first time. And here it is. But it takes more than what we are, faith, and more than what we are to shine, to shine. It's our time. It's now or never. It feels like that in this moment, which is cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Jared, thanks again for joining us. Is there any way that people can keep up with Bleach and what you guys are doing? Like anything on the social media world?
Yeah.
Or...
It's funny you said that because we just created a TikTok.
Okay, awesome.
we're trying to figure it out. I would, the best thing to do is we're pretty active on our Facebook. Our Instagram is Bleach is Alive.
Yeah.
And so I think that's got all of our links. And I think most people have Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll just say go there. I don't know what our TikTok is. I just created TikTok because Bleach did. I've always wanted one, just never felt cool enough to do it. Facebook, we're on there quite a bit, and all of us are under those accounts. So you'll see us talking to if you want to join in and comment or anything. We're always there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Well, I know people are going to be pumped.
follow along. Be
Join
great.
you guys, find you, and catch you at Furnace Fest this year.
Be
And
awesome.
So it's really fun. Well, thanks again for joining us. This has been a great conversation.
Hey, are you listening?